I intentionally sent the wrong item to Amazon buyers so that I could increase my positive reviews. The customer service strategy I'm going to share with you is going to shock you. I use it to turn upset customers into raving fans who end up buying more and leaving 5-star reviews. In this video, I'm going to show you how I do this and how this cigar cutter and this book helped me create an ironclad customer service system that is profitable and generates profits and reviews. My name is Carlos Alvarez, and I'm a full-time 9-figure Amazon seller of 15 years. This Redwood Guillotine cigar cutter used to be one of the SKUs of my cigar accessories private label brand. It's a super small, lightweight guillotine cigar cutter, and they all came packaged in this like black boxing. And when the ones that I used to actually sell, they were all black on black instead of the like orange on black that you're seeing here. I used to sell these cigar cutters in dozens of different colors. So you have a redwood here, an orange, this is the gunmetal gray. They all came in this identical black packaging that had this like black hog stamped logo on the box, which made it absolutely impossible to tell what color cutter was actually inside. So then to compound and make matters worse, I used to ship them in these gray like Tyvek mailers. So you had this like black box with no logos on the out, with no like identifying information on the outside, inside of these gray blank envelopes. Once you packaged up everything, there was no way to really tell these units apart. So the very first week of adding colors, I received a scathing 1-star review from an Amazon customer about having received the wrong color cigar cutters. This buyer had bought 5 of the redwood cigar cutters. Instead, he received 3 different colors in his order. So this person goes on to write a scathing review about me and about his transaction and recommends that nobody ever buy from me again. So I noticed this message immediately, and I remember thinking that, a cigar club would be a dream customer. So I offered to personally inspect each and every one of these cutters and send replacements to him at no additional charge. The guy was much more blown away than I thought he was. I thought he was going to like flat out ignore me, and he promised to place another large order soon. I asked if he'd be willing to revisit his negative review and leave one that reflected perhaps the level of customer service he felt he received once I knew about the problem. He did. And the 1-star review became a 5-star review. And that was like a paragraphs long review, not one of these like great product, love it. But this was one that just really went into depth, didn't make any mention of the mistake, but just went on to say stuff like, just some of it not even completely accurate, just like really hyping me up as like the place that all cigar clubs should be buying their stuff from. And over the next year, this cigar club owner kept messaging me, kept referring new members of his club to me. So it was very easy to attribute our ranking on Amazon to this bad experience turned good. This was almost 14 years ago. I was able to do this so easily too, because back then everyone wasn't using FBA and I was shipping a lot of this stuff merchant fulfilled. But for me, the more important thing was the seed was planted so that with each new, bad customer service experience, I became actually excited for the opportunity. Was this an influencer or another club owner? Head of Cigar Aficionado magazine. A bad customer experience it's going to happen. There's no way around it. They're inevitable. You're going to deal with them sometimes. The only way to not have a bad customer experience, I think, or for a customer to not have a bad customer experience with you, is to not be in business. What is in our control though is how we deal with them. I once had somebody leave me a 1-star review for a cigar humidor they bought from me because the inner diameter of the humidor, in their opinion, was a fraction of an inch off. It didn't let this person repurpose my humidor, a cigar humidor where you put cigars in it to be humidified. This fraction of an inch off, in their opinion, did not allow him to put his dead parrot inside to use my cigar humidor as a coffin. So you can definitely, what this taught me is you cannot please everyone. The experience with the cigar club owner left me super curious though, and I wondered if it was possible to turn customer service on Amazon, a job most business owners consider an absolute waste of resources, a headache. Could this absolute dumpster fire of position be turned into not only an important part of the business, but be a super exciting source of positive 5-star reviews, and could it actually be a profit generator? About a year after learning this technique, I decided I wanted to test my hypothesis out by intentionally sending the wrong cigar cutters to customers to see if I could turn intentionally made horrible experiences into 5-star reviews on Amazon, as well as potentially upsell customers. I'm going to share the results with you in another video, but first I want to break down how I go about doing this, like how I make this work and how you'll be able to implement this in your business. I highly recommend this book, Hug Your Haters by Jay Baer. It helped me realize that great customer service is not just a great and I hope obvious business practice, but if done strategically, it's also a way to generate positive ROI in your business. Hug Your Haters helped me break down my customer service system, and I've molded it a little bit to make it my own. But in short, what it does is it turns upset Amazon customers into 5-star review leaving customers who can easily be upsold to. And all you have to do this is follow these 5 non-negotiable steps. Step number 1 is timeliness. It does not matter how awesome your customer service is. If you're responding hours or God forbid days later, then this is just not going to work. The questions I'm asked most is, how soon is soon enough? Try to reply as instantly as possible. Step number 2 is to acknowledge. It is critical that you acknowledge their message. So at this point, they've sent you a message, you responded as close to instantly as possible, and now it's critical that you actually acknowledge it. Replying to an unhappy customer with something like, your refund has been processed, or this was sent via FBA and not my responsibility. Please contact Amazon. This is horrible. This is not customer service, and you are missing the entire point here. So acknowledge and thank them for their order, first of all. The next thing you want to do is you want to acknowledge ownership of the problem and acknowledge that you're going to be with them every single step of the way until this is resolved to their satisfaction. If you have any questions about this system that I'm talking about, or if you feel you have a unique approach that's working for you, I would absolutely love it if you leave a comment below and I will personally answer. Also, I want to make sure you know about and join our free Amazon Seller Meetup group. You can join it by visiting wizardsofecom.com/free. Step number 3 is the environment. I cringe every single time I see an upset customer going back and forth with the brand in a heated and escalating argument in a public Facebook comment thread or forum. This is absolutely not the place for this. On Amazon, it's really no different. One-upping them in a public comment or feedback is an absolute recipe for disaster. Nobody wants to be proven wrong or at fault, let alone in a public place where they just spent money. So instead, acknowledge the post, the comment, the thread, whatever, and move the convo to the buyer-seller message board. So if you're communicating in a public place, then the best bet is to move the convo as quickly as possible after you've acknowledged it to a private one immediately. The buyer-seller message board or other offsite spot designated for customer service issues, this is going to be where all your templates and playbooks and every other tool you have at your disposal to help you resolve customer service issues is going to be. So this is always going to be the absolute best place that you want to take customers to once there's a problem, so that you can completely wow them with your customer service. 4th step is to solve it. It's shocking to me how badly or bare minimum effort is put into this, but this is a very obvious step in the stage. This step is like your magic wand in your toolbox, instructing the buyer to contact FBA because it's an FBA issue is not customer service. Not only does this absolutely not acknowledge ownership of the problem, you're really just passing the buck and passing them on to Amazon. And it also puts the buyer in the position where they have to now go through this frustrating process of returns and fool with their printer and otherwise just be absolutely inconvenienced with their schedule. So for me, the idea of printing a return label and standing in a line at UPS is enough to motivate even me to leave a negative review. Instead, what I like to do is I'll offer to send them another product at no additional charge. I let them know that I am not going to require them to be inconvenienced by doing a return, and I give them a full and complete refund. So they get a full refund, they get sent another product for free, and they do not have to be inconvenienced for a return. Finally, number 5 is to follow up. This is an important step, but in full transparency, I want to throw in here, I've bolted on a little secret strategy I use to really help me out in the Amazon space. So it's a dual purpose customer strategy here. Your follow-up here though is to promptly get the new tracking number to them. And it is to set a reminder to follow up with the buyer once the replacement item has arrived. And it is to follow up on that negative review they possibly already left and ask for them to revisit it and instead leave a review based on the level of customer service that they feel that they've received once the problem was brought to your attention. Here's a real life script that I use, and I'll break down how each of the 5 steps come into play. So feel free to use this script for yourself. For this example, a customer reached out to me after leaving a negative review and they slammed me for selling a broken wine aerator. I reply within minutes to the message and I write to them something like this. We'll say it's Dan. So, hi Dan, I just received your message about receiving a broken wine aerator and I am responding promptly. I first want to thank you for your purchase and express how I'm going to resolve this for you to your absolute full satisfaction. I conduct pre-shipment inspections of all of our wire and aerators before shipping. And in this case, I noticed that I absolutely dropped the ball with you. I take full responsibility. I checked our warehouse cameras. It shows that I missed this one. And while it's rare, even I sometimes make mistakes. So for this, I apologize. For starters, I've issued you a full and complete refund of your order. And I'd also like to ship you a new unit at absolutely no charge. Please confirm your ship to address so I can get this shipped out to you immediately. Finally, there is absolutely no need to return the current item. I do not want to inconvenience you any further with the return. And if you don't mind, I'd like to follow up with you after you've received the product to make sure that you have liked the item, understand how to use it, and it has met your expectations. All 5 of the steps to this formula were hit in this message. And now there only needs to be 2 additional email messages that are sent. My next message is going to be to share the tracking number, which I'll say something like this. And it's important that this is in a timely fashion. So thank you so much for confirming your ship to address. Here's the tracking number. And I have set a reminder in my calendar to follow up with you in a few days from now to make sure that everything is as expected. Once the date has passed and I know they've received it, and the last message I'm going to send them is something like, and this is where I insert my personal touch, is I put in there, hey, I just noticed that you've received the order and had a chance to check it out. I would love to know if it met your expectations, and I would love to know if you wouldn't mind revisiting your review. This is assuming they did leave a negative review, which they did in this case, instead leaving a review that takes into account the level of customer service you feel that you received once this issue was brought to my attention. So I have an 80% success rate in converting negative reviews to positive ones this way. So I really hope you start using this to hug your haters on Amazon as well. Make sure to check out my other videos on this channel, and make sure to check out the video where I intentionally sent 30 of the wrong items to customers. You will be shocked with the results.